Someone shot the food. Life force running out.
Hey there, everybody. It is June the 21st, 2021, and this is your Mr. Video Game Live Super Show brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment. We are absolutely live for you and your viewing pleasure today to talk about video games, which, most of the people in the video game sphere seem to be mostly taking a well-deserved break after disappointing many gamers and yet also putting out a shit ton of games somehow at the same time. Question mark. I'm Slacker Kite. I push button, make thing go vroom. And of course, returning with us today, the legend, the myth, it is Brian the K Wonder Boy.
I will accept legend. Myth, on the other hand, I am very much real. Damn it. I know what you mean. I know what you meant by it. Don't worry. I'm not actually angry.
Are you a real
No.
though person that I actually met during college physically?
I'm a tangible person. I am of the flesh.
Hmm.
I am of so much flesh. And I was going to talk about more about flesh, if not for some other stuff that happened today. But let's just say it's been a very life changing in a way day over here
Oh,
in the Bell House. I'll talk more about that once we get past intros, though.
okay, sure. That's a nice teaser for a moment. And of course, returning as always, you know her, you love her, it's Lady Merowyn.
Hello. Yeah, I'm here. I'm relatively alive. I've been awake for about 15 minutes. The last couple of days have just been really rough, so sleep has been my best friend.
I gotta tell you, for like the first time in for fucking ever, I actually feel like I'm awake and here, so I'm kind of excited to do the podcast today because like you might actually get a live person hosting the podcast. Fucking crazy, I know. It's good to have everyone back here today. So, Brian, I I think we don't have any games to really like. I didn't play anything unless Lindsay's got a game or something.
I have had no time to play any games.
I went outside like some kind of asshole.
You can
So,
play games outside. That's no excuse.
I mean, yeah, I guess you can, but I was out there like looking at things and being a smug asshole that stares at art and shit.
I
So,
see.
sometimes at the same time.
No, honestly, you know what? That's a healthy thing to do. I'm glad that you did that. Especially after how busy last week was with all the E3 stuff, and not to mention the previous week as well. We did so many shows. It was fun though.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Mhm.
I love being
yeah,
busy here because like, oh no, I have to sit here and talk with my friends about video games.
it's
Terrible.
the worst, right?
Yeah,
Just
torture.
outright terrible. Yes. God. Yeah, so I had planned to have games to talk about this week because after post E3 we had the Steam Next Fest or where they unleashed a whole lot of demos for a lot of games that we saw at E3, and I downloaded a slew of them, and I had plans to play some of them. Um, Especially today, I had planned out a few hours in my afternoon after getting done with my other work, to sit down and play some demos. I downloaded Unbeatable's demo. I downloaded the oh god, I can't remember the name of the game right now at the moment. Give me 1 second, I have it pulled up here. I downloaded Uncited's demo. I downloaded the Death Trash demo. I had actually booted up the Death Trash demo, which was going to be all of my flesh talk was going to lead into me talking about the Death Trash demo, but I only get to play 3 minutes of it before news fucking broke that is world changing when it comes to the LGBTQ community.
Oh yeah.
And this has nothing to do with video games, but it has everything to do with the other part of my job, sports. While I was booting up and getting started in the Death Trash demo, news dropped that the first ever active NFL player to come out as gay had happened. Carl Nassib, he's a defensive end. Carl Nassib, rather. He's a defensive end for the Las Vegas Raiders. He
Okay.
came out earlier today on Instagram, and he is the first active NFL player to ever come out, ever. Ever. There have been other players that have come out after retiring or after being out of the league,
Mm.
but no player has ever come out while on a team, and it blew up everywhere. Like I immediately had to put down all the games and go and like jump into coverage mode and I like whip out story and talk to other stuff. I don't. It's just been a while. It threw my entire afternoon out of whack, but in an amazing, awesome way. It's been an emotional day as well for me. Like you, Trav, you've known me for a while.
Yeah.
Lindsay, you've known me for a little while too. Like I grew up a humongous football fan. I still am a humongous football fan, and that league always represented the antithesis of what me as a queer person really felt that they identified with. I played football growing up, and um, I was always kind of derided on teams because not necessarily because I was like, queer or anything. Because at that point I wasn't out yet. I was in fourth grade, but like all throughout that time, like I always felt like I wasn't good enough, or I felt like I was treated differently because I wasn't as strong or big or athletic, or just had a different demeanor than a lot of other players, and I didn't really embrace this sort of this sort of masculinity ideal that came with football. But this is a monumental thing, something I never thought I would see. Growing up, I thought I would never see it. As I've gotten more entrenched in the LGBTQ community in sports, I thought we would see it eventually, but not this soon. And it is truly amazing to see. Yeah, so I did not play any video games because my world changed.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I
I
am so
mean,
ridiculously happy.
so how
Yeah,
has the community's response been so far?
it's been amazing. The Raiders tweeted out a support. Roger Goodell, I write for Outsports, but I did not cover this story for Outsports. I covered this story for my other place that I work, Toll Road. So if you want to read my article on it, just go to tollroad.com. I'll drop a link in the chat just for if anybody wants to go read that at some point. But basically, Outsports, we were covering it, and the commissioner of the league, Roger Goodell, issued a statement in full support and pride of Nassib or Nassib, and there really hasn't been any detraction. Like a bunch, like anybody that works in queer sports media or is queer and works in sports media, queer fans of sports, that everybody has just been straight up, 100% behind this, and it's amazing to see. It's outstanding.
I mean, it must be a interesting day for covering sports. I didn't know about that one. I saw actually Lindsay put in the chat about the transgender weightlifter that's going
Yes,
to the Olympics.
yes, that is another huge one. The trans weightlifter from New Zealand is going to be, I believe, the first out trans athlete at the Olympic Games. Um, I know they're not the first one, or she's not the first one to compete at the trials, but I think she will be the first one to compete at the games themselves.
Yeah, it's, I mean, super cool there, and I love the Supreme Court basically deriding the NCAA today. Just even he came from fucking Justice Kavanaugh of all people.
Hell yeah.
Even
Fuck
that
that dude.
shitbag's
Hell
like,
yeah.
no, this sucks.
Yeah. The dude can eat one, but good on him for actually seeing the ruse of fucking student athlete designation.
Yeah,
Ah,
I hate it. I used to fucking love college sports, especially football, but also college basketball. Watched more Duke than I care to talk about, but like I can't really support it anymore because these kids are kind of starving, despite the fact that they should have millions of dollars because they're talented fucks.
exploitation of labor is a fucking thing.
It is. But overall, sounds like a cool day in the sports world, which I can already hear. Let's quit talking about sports ball.
Fuck y'all, this is my moment. No, look, don't worry. There's plenty of game stuff to talk about
Oh
too.
yeah.
But I just had I don't rarely get the chance. I rarely get the chance to have these two things kind of bleed over and have them directly impact these sort of things for me. So this was just outstanding. And unfortunately, it did keep me from playing some demos. But I'll have more to talk about those demos at a later date. Because Death Trash, the 3 minutes I did get to play of it, mmm, that's a yummy trash heap right there. Lot of flesh.
I look forward to having a lot to talk about next week. And, this has been on my mind a bit recently. Like, why do nerds hate sports so much when sports is so much equivalent to gaming and shit?
I
Like,
mean,
it's,
they're all nerdy in their own way.
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, when I was a wee nerd in high school, it was the jocks that used to beat the hell out of me on a daily basis.
See,
So,
I never had that problem. Like, I was probably cooler with the jocks than most people in high school. We stood around talking about Dragon Ball.
Hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, that's nothing having to do with video games. Should we just get into the stories then? I'm sure people are tired of us just rattling about our own shit. Let's just we're going to start off just by I know we covered E3 so much last week, but it seems like a good time in hindsight to just recap all the things, especially now that we know all of the big dates. We can just drop everything here. Um, so we've got Breath of the Wild 2 aiming for a 2022 debut. We don't have an exact date on that. A Zelda Game & Watch as well, coming out in November. No exact date on that, but we know the month, so whatever. Metroid coming out in this October for sure on the 8th. Advance Wars this December. WarioWare this September. Like, there is still, I think, a very definitive hole in the November December area with Nintendo. Now, I don't think that necessarily means that they're going to have something to fill it. I know you might say, well, they've got Advance War coming up, but it's a remake of a DS game or a Game Boy Advanced, I believe, was a 1 and 2. DS was, yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
so it does seem to leave like a hole to me, but maybe they don't have to fill it necessarily.
Well, when does Mario Golf come out? Then you see the release date on that.
I guess there is Super Mario Superstars landing on the 29th, and the Mario Party series is fucking classic, so that might be their big filler for holiday season.
Yeah, because like the only other real big game that's left is Mario Golf Super Rush, and that comes out at the end of like in a week, or
Yeah.
at least this week rather. It comes out this week. So
Yeah, that's pretty soon, last I checked.
yeah,
Capcom not really giving us anything like huge. We kind of knew most of this. We do have Monster Hunter Rise coming soon. Second week of July. Wings of Ruin is coming on the 25th. So, yeah, it's not a whole lot of information really on the Capcom side. Excited for the DLC for Resident Evil Village. I have not eaten a game like that in ages, and I'm probably going back to that later this week because I really want to fuck around more with Mercenaries. That shit's fun. Of course, we have Plumbers Don't Wear Ties coming soon. The game everyone is on the edge of their seat for. Just a whole ton of crap, though. Rondo of Blood is a huge one, coming originally for the Turbo Duo. You don't see a whole lot of those games being brought back again.
nah, but Rondo of Blood is like the one Castlevania game that hasn't really gotten that sort of like a wide release because of the where it was originally released, and it's a fan favorite. So
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of giddiness from the Castlevania fans out there, so I'm glad that they get something because there's so little to get out of, especially anything Konami related recently. Let's see. Nakamura Blade Point in August. Just you
looks
can,
dope.
yeah. There's a whole lot of these. God, the list. I just love that this list just keeps going on, and yeah, we've got Death Trash, Project Warlock 2. We got the Guardians of the Galaxy launch coming out October 26th. I know some people seemed a little bit let down by it, but I am really pleased to see a single player campaign in a video game. Don't have to worry about all of the online shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see more about that game, to actually see how it feels.
I feel like Enix's delivery this year, we've spoken before, was obviously bad, but there's some cool shit here. Like, I know me and you are both interested in that Final Fantasy Origin because it just looks so over the top.
I have to kill chaos.
Like,
That's
there's some Devil May Cry feels definitely going on there with the writing.
I went back and watched the Waypoint stream that they did of that press conference, and they actually had a chaos counter running during that trailer, and they counted that trailer. They said the word chaos 7 times,
7 times.
7 times in that one trailer.
That
That was all
seems
of like
too
a minute
many.
and a half. Yeah, it seems like the writing's bad. Who would have thought?
I mean, really, it seems like it would have been the easiest voice acting gig ever. It would have just been a show up, say, sound angry, and say chaos as many times as humanly possible.
Dust,
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, that too.
you have to.
chaos.
Grouped was hard to deliver, and that's just one phrase, so there's a lot of ways you can say chaos.
But he only says it one way.
I only have one mission in life. to kill chaos.
Whole lot
So
of
so dumb.
just a whole lot of Life is Strange stuff upcoming, and it's hard to be mad with that. It's not one of my favorite games ever, but it has like a certain tweeness to it that you just don't really see in big video games anymore.
It has a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing that I really like about playing those games, is that there's a lot of heart and it tells stories that are very reticent to communities that haven't had stories that are very pertinent to them told through video games, especially major publisher video games like Life is Strange. So
Yeah. Starfield looks really interesting if they can deliver on that promise. I'm certainly not going to pre-order that shit, but if
Mhm.
it is as big as they state it will be, I'm going to be excited for that.
did y'all see this conspiracy theory bullshit going around about like the etching on the panel of the starship in Starfield?
No?
No, but I love a good conspiracy theory.
Okay, so a bunch of people like focused in on the console in the ship in the Starfield trailer, um, and they saw that what they appeared to look like a shape carved into it that resembled the shape of the region of Tamriel, making them believe that there's potentiality that Starfield takes place in the same universe as Elder Scrolls.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, as soon as you said Tamriel, I'm like, is this gonna be like the whole Half-Life 3 confirmed?
Oh my god. Like, that seems.
ES6 confirmed. It was in Starfield.
This is. There's another story later that I feel the exact same fucking way about is I don't know how many fucking times people be like, is this Elder Scrolls? No. No, it's not. At the very furthest, they might have put it in for a fun Easter egg. But come the fuck on.
I mean, I think that's mainly what it is, honestly. That knowing Bethesda, like, yeah, it's probably just a tiny little Easter egg thing, but people have run with it in the way that video game fans like to do, and I don't fault them for running with it. I just hope that they don't lash out whenever they realize that their theory is wrong.
You promise the next. Stop reading into every single thing. Like, just be pleasantly surprised if it is. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I
neat.
mean, like, it could very well, like Brian was saying, just a fun little Easter egg, like how Disney and Pixar keep including characters from their upcoming movies into their current releases.
Yeah. Sea of Thieves and the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover. As far as I can tell from the Sea of Thieves community, they are actually kind of digging it. A whole lot of interesting lore that had only been teased previously about the actual Sea of Thieves world seems to be coming up through way of incident by Jack Sparrow being Jack Sparrow. And that seems like a cool
I
combination.
Yeah, like Jack Sparrow is to Disney, like Deadpool is to Marvel. It's all about those little fourth wall breaks and that interesting ability of being able to just play the world at being a hell of a lot bigger than it is.
Yeah, it's both of them are good in small doses, you know? Like I love hot pepper, but like I'm not going to like bite into a whole one. It's too much. But give me that little peppering onto other things. Sounds nice. Sounds fun. Enjoy your Sea of Thieves. I know it launched poorly, but people are into it now. Age of Empires 4? Hell, I might get into that. That's I miss some of the good old Age of Empires stuff going on.
That's probably the only RTS game that I spent a significant amount of time with, and I It's a it's gonna be on Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
Because if it, yeah, okay, I'm probably going to end up playing some more of that. I say it with such disdain in my voice, but it's not that feeling at all. Not
we've
that feeling at all.
we've got Redfall, your shooty vampire bang bang game.
Now this I'm excited for.
It's
Obviously, it's a long ways away, but I am excited to see what Arcane can do with this.
it is a very Brian game, isn't it? You've got your over the topness that vampires bring to the table, along with constant action. How do you go wrong with that?
Easily, but I trust Arcane not to.
The
See, I
game.
wasn't because you were so excited for it. I was not going to be the one to say that word.
Oh no, I played Left 4 Dead. I know how easily these things can go bad
Yeah.
or boring, rather.
Yeah.
Because Left 4 Dead was fun for like 3 hours. Then it got real boring.
What? Some people fucking love that game. I don't.
Oh no,
Know.
and I understand why they do, and I don't fault anybody for it, but it was just not for me. Did not hold my interest.
Gotcha.
I own a copy of that game, and it didn't hold my interest. I wasted $60.
The game that will probably make me dive back into the Game Pass Forza Horizon 5 out November the 9th. That looks sick as fuck.
I look forward to listening to you and Lindsay tell me all about that game that I am not going to play.
Wait, which one?
Forza Horizon 5.
5.
Yes.
Yes, I will live vicariously through you.
If my computer can handle it, I'll stream it some night.
Well, I mean, you can always. Well, I guess is the question is that game going to be one that's streamable? Because you might be able to just stream the game instead. Then you don't have to fucking worry about having a good computer.
Yeah, but then I just have to worry about my bandwidth.
You do have that fascinating bandwidth that likes to do what it please. It's
Yeah,
good some of the time.
sometimes. Rarely.
Outer Worlds 2, definitely a whole lot of previous Fallout fans very excited for some more Outer Worlds content. Got to get that outer space capitalism. Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming on September the 23rd. That's.
A thing.
Yeah, I'm staring at it like. I kind of want to give it a try, but I don't want to give any fucking more money. And we'll get to it later, to the Bobby Kotick. It's just don't touch my fucking money. Halo Infinite showed off its free-to-play multiplayer mode. Um, Dude, Halo is one of the most beloved multiplayers, especially for people from our generation. So, seeing it free to play is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's dope. It's actually got me interested to jump back into Halo multiplayer for the first time in a long time. Like I'm into it wholeheartedly.
God, like we could technically do a Halo stream, betwixt the three of us. Fuck.
Definitely potentially could.
Oh dear.
A Plague Tale is coming out next year.
Yes.
The original, I've seen both Goggles and I think a bit of Lindsay playing that game. And
That was a Peter.
that was Peter, that's right.
He fell in love with that game, man.
It is a very interesting to behold game. It didn't really catch my interest, but I can see why people love it.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoy that game.
The story got me, but I know it's not one that I could actually play. I
Oh
would
yeah,
panic too much and I would never get through anything.
just waves to plague rats.
I could play it. I
Yeah.
just get like frustrated by that type of puzzle game. It gets on my last list. Oh, so much shit brought to Game Pass. Hades on August 21st, 12 Minutes on August 19th, Origami on September 17th, Sablon on September 23rd, The Anacrusis, Autumn, Scored, Autumn, Among Us 2021, Hello Neighbor 2 2021, The Gunk 2021, Somerville 2022, Shredders December 2021, Slam Rancher 2 2022, Replace 2022, Atomic Heart to be to be determined, Party Animals 2022, Ayuden Chronicle Rising 2022, and 100 Heroes 2023.
I love the fact that the only title in that entire list that does not have any form of a number beside it is the same game that I'm still boggling my mind to try and figure out what it is. I'm never going to let this go. I need to know what Atomic Heart is. Like, I just keep watching that trailer over and over again.
You want to know what it is, and you want Microsoft to show you. We need data? Anything?
Give me an ID at Xbox stream solely about Atomic Heart. Give me
Yeah,
20 minutes of nothing but Atomic Heart.
I totally get where you're coming from with this because like ambiguous marketing to pique interest only goes so far. And they seem to have taken it to the extreme with this one. Like it was announced how long ago and still nobody really knows what it's about.
Yeah, I'm
All I know is
noticing
that
that.
if it has more of that Eurovision soundtrack, then I am fucking in 100% already. Sorry, go ahead, Trev.
I know the gamer scene is starting to have a bit of a hype whiplash, like to things like, oh my god, be excited for this thing. And we're starting to see people actually going, okay, but show me why first. And it's a refreshing thing to see, especially having grown up with people like, it's coming to the PlayStation, therefore it must be good.
God, those days. Ugh.
Yeah, we still have console enthusiasts, let's say, that still hype their console as being the greatest fucking thing since sliced bread. We're seeing so much less of that, and that makes me happy. We've got the Borderlands spin-off, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I don't see myself playing it, honestly, but I know for a fucking fact Josh is gonna play it at some point. So I'll probably see bits of it. Um, that's really about all you can really say for Gearbox. Devolver's Max Pass Plus fucking slammed it. Holy shit. Like, I always get amazed that Devolver just keeps making good not conferences. And yet here they do. And some of the games even look fantastic. The Hex I am excited for. Wizard with the Gun, excited for.
Inscription.
Yeah.
It's an escape room and a roguelike deck builder. I'm down.
Ubisoft giving us more of that Mario plus Rabbids fucking goodness. Holy shit. That game came out of goddamn nowhere everyone went, huh? What? And then the people that played it went, this is amazing. This is everything Xbox could have, or XCOM could have been, but simpler, brought down to earth, and fucking frenetic. It's great. Rocksmith is returning. Fucking cool. Just we've gone into the ground on that one. I am excited to see that back. I'm not going to use it, but it's so cool that shit like that exists. A lot of people really excited for Rainbow Six Extraction. I was surprised at the groundswell of people really excited for that release. So, fuck yeah, go for it. Put some weird alien bullshit into Rainbow Six. It'll be good. Avatar. Just Dance 2022.
Hooray!
Yeah, it
I
comes
don't
out
know.
every
Todrick
year.
Hall.
Every
They
year you
brought-
get a Just Dance, and it's good.
Yep, Just Dance
Like-
is cool.
I'm thrilled that they brought in like somebody who is an absolute icon. They brought in Todrick Hall as one of the choreographers, as well as he's got an exclusive version of his song. I'm gonna butcher the title because I love the song, but I always get it backwards. What is it? Nails, hair, hips, heels.
Yep,
That's
sounds
right.
about right.
And I adore that song. That is my okay, time to get moving, let's go music. So I'm thrilled.
The Wholesome Direct showed off a bunch of really interesting games. Passepartout, Ooblets. You've got some great stuff coming forward if you love your chillax indie games.
Yeah, the Wholesome Direct was probably my favorite presentation of the entire week. Honestly, that or the Day of the Devs stream.
Mhm.
Just because like the sheer variety of titles that were on display there, were it's just really outstanding to see just the increased variety that's getting played during the week.
I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of those I don't really want to play as much as I'm kind of excited for some of my favorite streamers to play. Um, and that's usually a good sign that there's something really interesting there, even if it's not the kind of brand that I want to dive into. Um, it says a lot that a lot of these are going to make for really interesting content, get the people going, and that's always a good way to get more indie games out there. Let's see, we've got the Elden Ring finally has a release date. Everyone can fucking calm down. January 21st of next year. Not even that terribly long away. It will be out soon for the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the PC. You got it. Jurassic World's Evolution 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be better. That's the
No.
tagline.
Let's see. I think
I'm full on grumpy catting this one. Just no.
and if you really want just the release dates, it's all right here, straight up text. Anything that was given a release date. I love game industry always and forever because they just give you the information you want sometimes. Sometimes you just want to know, okay, how do I plan my schedule for the rest of the year?
Real quick before we move off of this, one game that was announced, or not necessarily announced, but had some more details released around it that I enjoyed seeing and am eminently excited for is Axiom Verge 2, because they the I can't, the name of the person who was like the one person team behind making that game. Their name always escapes me, and I feel bad about it. But Axiom Verge 2 feels like the complete unsafe bet to make when making a sequel to the first game.
Mm.
Because it is essentially nothing like the first game in many ways, but yet is still very similar to it. Like all of the combat is melee combat. Or all the weapons are melee weapons. You don't have to beat any of the bosses to beat the game.
Ooh.
Yeah, like and the story, I'm very curious to see what they do with the story. There's been very, very little detail about the story other than the fact that you are landing in Antarctica and there's some shit going down apparently. But I don't know. I just really enjoyed what I saw of it, and it's made me more that much more excited to play it. It seems like they've really leaned further into the hacking mechanic in the first game,
Mhm.
so much so that that it plays a heavier a much heavier, excuse me, a much heavier role in this game than before. So that one specifically has got me excited. For I'm hoping we get a release date soon, but we'll see.
While I didn't love Axiom Verge, I'm excited to see another one because the love that the developer put into that game is palpable. This is the love child of one person out there, and it's dripping with unique emotions and feelings that you're just not really going to see packaged the same way anywhere else, you know. And there's a lot of things that you've seen before, but not like this. As well, a game actually surprisingly came out. Oops. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Fucking amazing score. 88 meta score, 9.2 user score. Um, it is one of the first games to really use the PS5 to its best benefit, and it really shows people were awed at the graphics in this game. For being, you know, a cartoony game, there is some amazing fucking detail to this game. So I am not amazed that people love it as much as they do.
I'm not surprised at all. The Ratchet and Clank games are tend to be good, tend to be very well made, and tend to be very fun.
Yeah.
I really didn't get into them until the the release of the remake based off of the movie that was a retelling of the first game that came out on PS4 last year.
Mm.
But I played the hell out of that thing, and it really bridged the gap between that PS2 action platformer era into what those could be on newer systems with newer ideas implemented into them as well. So it's not like full throwback, and this one has gotten a lot of praise, and you know, apparently on PS5 it looks stunning.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very curious. I'm not surprised at all that it's getting the kind of praise that it is.
I'm always excited to see games that just focus on the fun and sheer joy that you can bring into gaming being really embraced. You know, it's I think of the whole PS3 era where nothing seemed to be allowed to be fun. And here we are with the Goofy mascot game again in just beautiful HD. I mean, even like looking at Clank here, the shine is impressive. I mean, until I started seeing it more, I didn't really understand what the what everyone's big deal was with ray tracing. It's still like it's not a game cell or anything, But it is such a fucking nice touch seeing it actually in action. All right, from the rumor mill, there have been reports of EA suggesting a revival project, which makes a lot of people seem to think uh, Dead Space words. Um, and well, seeing as one of the producers says we're going to see it if we're not dead first, kind of feels like leaning into it. So I don't think this is a conspiracy theory that you look at and go, "Oh, that doesn't hold anything." Like, I can see it.
I mean, it's definitely possible. And just to clarify, that was actually from a reporter, Jeff Grubb,
Oh,
that
okay.
said that. Who is, a very prominent in the know reporter. So I would still give credence to that in a way. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my brain for like dormant EA franchises that have like death at the center of them, and Dead Space is the only one that comes up. So I don't know. Like it definitely could be, and I think that it's long overdue that they revisit that franchise. I think Dead Space 3 did a disservice to what the first two games built
Oh,
in many
absolutely.
ways, and I think trying to go back to that well, if you're trying to do an authentic Dead Space game in that way, this could be a real big return to glory for this franchise that still has a very strong and passionate fan base. So, yeah, I mean, it would be a no-brainer. It's just a matter of whether EA can really pull it off.
Yeah, as long as they don't lean back into the games as a service thing, I think it's hard to do terribly wrong. But man, I think everyone is kind of done with being sold on games as a service. So if they try to wheel that cart back out again, I can't even imagine the number of pissed off people that would come out of the woodwork for that.
Well, I mean, I don't even know how you would imagine Dead Space as a game like that because it's completely antithetical to what Dead Space tries to create in terms of mood and setting and theme. Like look at what the third game did. They put co-op in it and it removed almost all the tension from one of the most tense franchises that we've seen in the past few console generations. So I would think that they'd be smart enough not to go that route with a new Dead Space game, if in fact it is a new Dead Space game that we're getting.
Mm.
But I also would not put it past them to think that they could create something like that within this franchise. I just, you know, I think that if better minds prevail, we don't get that. But I definitely can see the EA hubris bleeding through and potentially going that route.
Yeah, that's my concern is that they would have learned the wrong lesson from Dead Space 3 that like blessings.
Ooh, bless you.
Excuse me. Allergy season is here, folks.
It is, and I don't think you even have a filter in there, do you?
I don't have what?
Filter? Air filter.
No. No.
Yeah, you're carbon complex.
Our apartment complex is precious. We still don't have air conditioning this year because I refuse to pay like $250 for it.
Yeah, gross. No.
Honestly, Calvoran, the only thing that I've been glad about with this whole pandemic thing is that everything's been closed. I don't have to go outside. I typically don't have to deal with pollen during allergy season. But now I have to deal with mask sneezes.
Super. You know, the only thing that I really hope that sticks around from the pandemic is dropped off food at your door. You know, not having to go through the whole polite exchange with your delivery person Oh, how you doing? No, okay. How do I tip you? Oh, that's great. Thank you. Have a nice day. No. Leave it at my fucking door like I'm some sort of cave troll. I'll slither out and get that shit. All right. Our next set of stories is some ongoing stories that, hey, we always love to talk about. We've got more going on with GameStop, naming Matt Furlong to the board. They are continuing to try to change the look of GameStop in ways that nobody yet fucking understands. But it keeps making those numbers go weird, so they seem to just keep fucking around with it, and good for them.
Well, I know a lot of the big shakeups are due to the influence of Ryan Cohen, who was the co founder of Chewy,
Mhm.
that came in as the director of technology for GameStop. And so he's been helping to try to push away from the brick and mortar into a more virtual space. And that's been doing really well, surprisingly enough.
Really?
Yeah, their revenue's doing better and things are starting to look like they're evening out.
I guess if GameStop is able to get enough unique things to them to sell that you couldn't find on, say, Amazon, etc., I can see it working, but they're going to have to really put their ass into it.
No,
Yeah.
it is for sure an uphill climb.
Well, Ryan Cohen created Chewy as a virtual business and then sold it for something like 3.5 billion to PetSmart.
Good lord.
Yeah.
So if anybody can start bringing GameStop into the digital sphere, it's going to be him. And they're kind of just giving him the reins to go ahead and start making these changes.
I wasn't aware PetSmart was still around, and then I saw that they are now partnered with DoorDash, and suddenly things clicked in the head. Okay, that makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
and it's the obvious way to pivot. We've talked about that multiple times on this show, and we talked about Cohen multiple times on this show that if there was going to be somebody within the leadership structure there that had an idea of how to do this, it was him. My main issue that I see for them is that unlike pet supplies and Cohen establishing Chewy as a leader on that front, in terms of the virtual marketplace, GameStop is going to be contending with so many other places, including the first party storefronts that have basically caused GameStop to go into the tailspin that it has been in the first place. Most notably, whenever Sony pulled digital sales of games from GameStop. So I guess it's more so like I'm glad that their numbers are going up because that means more people are not going to lose their jobs. Hopefully, you never have to say that. You always have to hedge that bet when it comes to a corporation. But crossing fingers. At the same time, though, they have to find a way to compete and remain relevant against like the PlayStation Store, the Nintendo eShop, the Xbox Game Pass. And with so many other avenues, Steam, for with so many other avenues for delivering these games digitally, I still worry that this uptick is not going to be consistent. I might be proven wrong, and in some ways I hope that I am proven wrong, but also like this every time I look at this story, it feels like too little too late in a lot of ways. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think more than likely in my mind, what happens is more of their brick and mortar stores close, more people lose jobs, and they try and centralize this into a virtual marketplace specifically,
Yeah.
and have that be the number one place that people go to, as opposed to trying to continue with however many brick and mortar locations they end up having after a lot of this restructuring is done. Which, great for GameStop, sucks for GameStop employees. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to really build back up the goodwill outside of the stonk community, to really give it a long term go coming out of it.
I'm completely distracted by this really odd choice of advertisement that has decided to descend upon us. I'm just kind of okay. Dude holding his socks and spreading his legs. It's a cool thing to drop
That's
on
that's what we in the business call getting it.
you. Like, my thought would be like selling video games themselves is going to be a dying market, right? You're seeing PlayStation and especially Xbox leading so heavily into digital sales now, um, that increasingly we're going to see the idea of owning the game being kind of quaint for most things. But if they say partnered with like I am 8-bit and you know, fuck Devolver even, limited run, etc. Maybe some of those quarter scale arcade stations lean into the collector market, because that market is goddamn thriving right now.
Well, I
And
mean, they tried that in the past. They tried to go with retro games, and they did not understand the pricing of retro games at all. And that addition to their marketplace came to a standstill because of it.
And when it came to like physical collector stuff, like replicas, cosplay, and just general nerd sundry, they had Think Geek. They killed Think Geek.
they killed ThinkGeek by continuing to shuffle cheap product into those stores rather than true collector's items, you know, off-brand pop fuzzies, hats and keychains that might be related, uh, fucking board game alternatives, because you need to play Lord of the Rings Monopoly, right? It seems there's to me there's better ways to do that, especially for your limited run physical releases. Records could be, with the way that record soundtracks to games have been popping off lately, leaning into that. That's a huge market right now. If they invested into being a physical distributor of that market, I mean, that's just my fucking pitch. I'm an idiot that drools over this shit all day and sees a real fucking disjointed marketplace for all of this. It's just my 2 cents.
Mhm.
Speaking of stuff that costs too money for no good reason, Bobby Kotick continues to make a shit ton of money. I think we talked a week or two ago, about the shareholders wanting to drop the amount of money Bobby Kotick is getting because he is making excessive fucking wages for no good reason. Now their ideas was to just give that money to the board rather than, you know, giving their employees the money they deserve for the work they do. But the least useful CEO, Bobby Kotick, was able to eke out by 54% of the shareholders to keep his current ridiculous pay, which is one of the highest ratios of CEO versus average pay in the entire fucking world.
I have said this so many times on this show. fucking eat the rich. I'm getting sick and tired of this bullshit.
But he's delivered more than $45 billion in additional shareholder value since his employment agreement took effect.
I'm just. I don't even know what to say right now that I haven't already said about Bobby Kotick.
It doesn't matter that the name of Activision Blizzard is in the fucking dumps right now. He's making shareholder money bank.
No one, and I mean no one, deserves the amount of money that he gets on an annual basis. Especially whenever you look at the pay discrepancy between him and the average employee there, and the way that they conduct business at Activision Blizzard. I am incensed by this. I am not surprised at all by this, because this is how corporations work, you know? And he can talk all day about slashing his salary, down to like, what was it, 850K
Yeah.
per year. But like at the end of the day, like you're still making like tens of millions of dollars based off of bonuses. And that's always been the thing that inflates his annual income. And it's also been the main reason why he has become such a supervillain in the world of video games. And it's good to know that he will continue that trend for as long as he has the reins of Activision Blizzard. I mean, we already know that Activision Blizzard is a company that is only fueled by one thing, and it's greed. Okay? They don't give a fuck about making good video games anymore. They make good video games here and there, obviously, because of the people that they employ. They employ good people. But at the end of the day, all they give a fuck about is how much money they can put in Bobby Kotick's pocket.
Oh yeah. Bobby Kotick and the shareholders. Those are the only people that really matter here. Hey, CEO pay is never really a fucking thing that matters. CEOs make their money. Like, Steve Jobs famously only got paid $1 a year to be CEO, but the man was fucking rich as shit because he had money in stock shares, he got bonuses, he got paid out constantly for his role as role at Apple, and that's the same way Bobby Kotick is getting paid out here, despite being one of the most ineffective CEOs in the history of CEOdom.
Well, I mean, he's not ineffective in terms of their motivation and what they want him to do and what his goals are. His goals are to inflate the stock price and keep it going up so that shareholders and himself continue to make money at the expense of everything else under the Activision Blizzard umbrella. And
In that way,
to that
sure.
end, he has undoubtedly succeeded in his goal. It's just a terrible fucking goal.
No, he's just shat on the history of Blizzard, an entire company known for the love of the gamers. So much so that they held entire conventions for this one company. And that's shat on. Just straight out. Ooh, shake it off. Shake it off with another story that following up still, Cyberpunk 2077 has been brought back to PSN with the warning that the game should not be played on the original PlayStation 4. For the best experience on PlayStation, playing on PS4 Pro or PS5 console is recommended.
Why even put it on sale for PlayStation 4 if the shit's still broken?
Important notice, users continue to experience performance issues with this game. Purchase for use on PlayStation 4 systems is not recommended.
this is bewildering to me. I know why this is happening because, CD Projekt Red is not going to get the PS4 version of the game into any kind of like stability, and Sony wants to make money off of it again. Like
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks. Like if the thing is broken, you shouldn't release it. Damn it. Especially after you've had what, almost 6 months now to fix it and it's still not fixed?
Yeah, it's never getting fucking fixed for the PlayStation 4. That's just
No.
never happening.
I mean, when we're looking at consumer goods, like physical goods, if there is a serious defect with one, a recall is issued, that product is not allowed to be sold. So, why can't we do the same thing with digital goods?
I, Cyberpunk 2077 to me is currently, as it stands, if you want to buy it on your PlayStation 5, your Xbox Series, what have you, it's to a place where it's fixed enough that it's not bad to play. There are certainly issues, but they're mild now to where it was when I first played it. That being said, on PlayStation 4, I've seen it recently. It's garbage. It is hot fucking crashing garbage. Still. This doesn't deserve to be out. This doesn't deserve to be buyable on the PlayStation 4. Is there no way to check your PlayStation 4 to see if it's a pro or not? There has to be a way to tag it and be like, no, we shouldn't sell this on the regular PlayStation 4 because it sucks.
The sad thing is though, people are still gonna buy it on PS4.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's all that matters to Sony.
Yeah, and I don't believe that there is no way that somebody playing on the PS4 couldn't derive enjoyment out of it. But it does kind of hurt your trust with Sony itself. I mean, yeah, Xbox never canceled the sales of it, but that they couldn't just put in something so you couldn't buy it on the PlayStation 4 seems straightforward to me.
Well, the other reason why I think is because like they haven't released the PS5 or Xbox Series X versions of the game yet. So the only way you can buy it within Sony's ecosystem is to buy it for PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So it's the only way that they could be making money off of it. You know. So and that's really what it all boils down to that. It all boils down to Sony having like getting their make good moment of pulling it off at the store for 6 months. Even though, as pointed out in this Kotaku article, some speculate that that was because the refund policy only applied to games that were faulty, and them delisting it made it like kind of like put a kink into those refund processes
Yeah.
for people that bought it. So if that's the case, fuck you even more, Sony. Um, but I don't know. Like they get to go out there and tout that they pulled the thing down for as long as they did. But yet now they get the chance to make their money on it off. Also, they're having their cake and eating it too. And I don't know if there's anybody truly powerful enough to call them out on it that will make them actually feel anything from this. It sucks. It all around sucks. The saga of Cyberpunk 2077 will never fucking leave us alone.
Nope.
Ever.
There is somebody powerful enough, but it's going to be a group effort. Gamers need to vote with their wallets. Stop fucking buying it. They're going to feel a pinch because, oh, well, what about the money we could have been making on this? Maybe we should push them to fix it. You know, like, I don't know.
I admit, like, my fuck you, I got mine attitude is not the best. I played it on Stadia and it didn't suck.
I played it on PC. It still sucked.
I played it on PS4. It double triple sucked.
Oh god. Hey, while we're talking about things that just won't go away, is it a new
Oh,
Silent Hill game?
god damn it.
Abandon is a new Silent Hill game with Hideo Kojima boarding it. We know because he did an Instagram picture where he's holding up a blue box.
Seriously?
And we have no association with Hideo Kojima, nor do we claim to have any association, nor was it our intention to claim such a statement. We are a small group of developers working on a passionate title we wanted to work on for a long time. Now, they haven't said who the person was that came forward and financed this game, how it ended up on the PlayStation exclusively. We don't have any of those ideas, but the rabbit hole for it is long. And they haven't announced the name of the game. It kind of started with them tweeting out, "Guess the name." The name for what the full name will actually be. First letter S, last letter L. Reveal closing in.
This is all just like a very, very poor attempt at viral marketing. Poor in the concept of it. It obviously executed well to a T because the entire video game world post E3 has done nothing but fucking bake this like something off of 8kun to try and figure out like what the hell is going on and how and pining so hard that they're getting their Kojima Silent Hill game when once again I hate and pain to tell the world you're not getting that game.
But there is a whole fucking subreddit for the Blue Box Conspiracy compiling all of the things that link the two games, or links the game with Kojima and Silent Hills. For instance, the Hassan has a YouTube channel called 2727, which Silent Hills was canceled on April the 27th.
I can't. I just can't.
I don't know how to fucking tell gamers. Stop with the fucking conspiracies that Kojima is working on Silent Hills. It's done. It's dead. That bridge was fucking burnt.
See, here's the thing. I don't fault anybody for like concocting these things or like really exploring them and digging deep and trying to like guess what's going to happen. You know, it's more a matter of whenever the thing that undoubtedly is not going to be the thing that you think is going to happen doesn't happen, don't react in a extreme way. You know, I'm all for like people exploring lores and trying to think, oh, well, this might happen and this might happen and all that good stuff. But whenever it doesn't happen, don't just lash out in extreme measures because of it. The same, like, and I have to say that because that's what gaming audiences like to do, or at least a subsect of them. You
Well,
know,
they
like
already have. They've been bothering the project lead on all of his
exactly.
social medias.
Yeah, they've been bothering the project lead. They've been bothering anybody that Blue Box follows online, including reporter for IGN Jordan Alleman.
Yeah, because they're following him because he
Yeah,
did an interview with the guy.
exactly. Like it's just blown out of this whole thing's gotten way out of hand.
Like, conspiracy theories can be fun when they don't hurt anybody. Like, oh, dude, wouldn't it be cool if this whole project was like the whole Moby Dick Studio thing before? Okay, that's cool, but it just got so out of hand. And this is like what, the sixth different thing that, like, yet again, Silent Hill fans scared a developer because they thought that this was actually Silent Hills. It's almost a weird joke at this point. Yeah, so anyway, Abandoned might be a fun game coming out in the future that has a different name when it actually comes out. So there you go. Keep an eye out for that. Alright, time to blow off some fucking steam. There was a leak that came out. Y'all know I love my fucking Lego Mario. Now, this looks like it's going to be real fucking expensive, so I'm not probably going to touch it. But, look at that fucking bad boy. How
That
do
looks
you not
dope.
love a giant flying castle?
It does look dope.
You got the Kamek, you got the fucking Bowser hand. There's even a big old fucking hand because shit gets weird when you bring Bowser in. I adore little shit like that, and while it is real fucking expensive, so I'm probably going to stay off of it myself. It's kind of just neat to look at and go, oh, that's some weird shit. He's so excited to be launched from a fucking cannon. Look at him. Alright. I gave you that breather. Because now we're going to get real serious.
Oh dear.
Let's talk about Scott Cawthon. Because we kind of touched on it last Wednesday, but we didn't really get into it. Now, if you're not familiar with the story of what's going on, Scott Cawthon is the developer of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. He is the original creator, programmer. Got his start because he was making Bible games, and Jim Sterling played one and made fun of it for how awkward and stilted it was. And, you know, compared it to like how things move in a horror game. So he's, why not just make a horror game? And then he did, and then he made millions of dollars. Um, However, Scott donates a lot of his money, and there's a good chunk of it that went to positive charities and whatnot. But he also maxed out his political donations to the likes of Donald Trump and several organizations that do not support LGBT communities. Yeah, welcome, Graves. It's a great time to be here. It's a great time to be alive. So, after that leak, that the places that he spent his money, he did a Reddit post that got locked initially. Then he made this post to his website, and I'm showing you a screenshot of his website because presently he blanked out the entire fucking thing. There's not even any fucking page source to look at. It is all blank. So he has probably retired from the Five Nights at Freddy franchise. Um, Daku did a great write up of the whole thing, picking choices from the Reddit post. I've had a blessed, fulfilling, and rich career. I've been shown great kindness and have tried to show great kindness in return. I've tried to make some good games, let the debate ensue, and have witnessed the creation of possibly the most creative and talented fan base on the planet. But here on the 7th anniversary of the Verse Games trailer, as I realized I was in my mid 30s when I created the series, now I'm approaching my mid 40s, I realized that I miss a lot of things that I got to focus on before Five Nights at Freddy's became such a massive success. So Five Nights at Freddy's isn't going to die. Somebody else is going to take the reins from Scott, and he is going to fuck off and do his own thing. Maybe play with his kids. Maybe make some other Christian game.
Oh, but Trav, you skipped over him making the one argument that he quote unquote needed to make in this whole thing.
Oh,
Because a lot of the criticism that came from from him making those political donations was because LGBTQ people who thoroughly enjoyed playing the Five Nights at Freddy's games um, didn't really take too kindly to the creator of those games donating to people that want to basically phase them out of existence. And but it's okay though, because he played the "I have gay friends" card
hmm. Oh,
in his apology.
don't forget the I'm a Republican, I'm a Christian, I'm pro-life, I believe in God. I also believe in equality and in science and in common sense. Despite what some may say, all of those things can go together. That's not an apology or promise to change, it's the way it's always been.
They can go together as long as you don't actively support people that want to fucking phase out the existence of queer people.
It is an opinion that comes from a place of massive fucking privilege. That
Yep.
he doesn't have to deal with it, so he doesn't see it. And he thinks by donating to these specific causes that he's ultimately helping the world in a way that it's the best way for him to spend his money, because this will make the world better. It'll help people pull themselves up by the bootstrap, get out there, and if he can do it, anyone can in America.
It will make his world better. That's the world that he is paying money to these people for. You don't pay money to Ted Cruz and to Donald Trump to get them reelected to create a world that is better for the wide swath of the American population. It's a very tailored view of who gets a voice and who gets support coming from that sort of thing. But the passage that I'm talking about from his apology comes in that same third paragraph that you were reading from, which is funny to me that the major thing that he got blowback from regarding this only made it into his apology in the third paragraph after he talked about so much other bullshit. I quote from his apology: I have been shown tremendous love and support over the last week, a lot of which has come from the LGBTQ community. The kindness shown to me has been surreal. I fully believe that there are people within the queer community that have come out to support Scott Cawthon, because as all other marginalized communities will tell you, we are not monolithic.
Mm.
There are a wide variety of beliefs and thoughts and values and those sort of things that encompass everyone in this community. At the same time, though, you don't get to lean on the fact that the queer people that said you're okay whenever you are donating to people that directly affect all of us. And you also don't get to say that you donating money, which under Supreme Court rulings is protected speech. So you are expressing your own speech through those donations. And your speech is going to empower homophobic and transphobic individuals. That still constitutes homophobia on your part. Just because you're not out here throwing slurs out left and right Excuse me. Just because you're out here not throwing slurs left and right does not mean that you are not using your voice to spread messages of homophobia by doing this. And I don't know if there's anything that will ever make Scott Cawthon actually see that that is what is happening here. Because myself, so many other queer voices within games media, so many queer voices within the Friday Nights at Freddy's community have all voiced this, have all voiced this singular topic, the singular point about how these donations affect them. And clearly, by evidence of this apology that he wrote, and the fact that he also scrubbed the thing from the internet by erasing his entire fucking website afterwards, you fucking coward, you completely negate that you definitely not negate, you definitely display that you do not understand and you have no desire to understand. You only care about the fact that some queer people said thumbs up, used a hashtag, and sent you some fan art. That's the extent of your relationship with the queer community. That's the extent that you want your relationship with the queer community to be. And you're not going to listen to anybody else that says anything otherwise. You know what? That's your right to do that. But at the end of the day, that also colors how you are viewed within these communities and beyond them as well. So, Scott Cawthon, go make games for your kids. Go make whatever games you want to make that are non-commercial or whatever. Go do it by all means, please. But understand that all of the points that you have made on your way out of the commercial side of this industry are completely null.
Yeah, I mean, none of this really surprises me, but like as Graves mentioned, a lot of his, you know, a lot of his activity externally has been very positive. He's very publicly, you know, been focused on fundraisers for different charities that he believes in. The Fanverse initiative was pretty cool. You know, there was a lot of neat stuff that this does not negate. You know, you can't do nice things in one place and then do something like this and feel like, well, I didn't do anything wrong, so I'm fine.
Yeah. It just seems like he's trying to play by schoolyard rules and go, oh, well, I'm still your bestest best friend. And then try to say, because, I have friends like this. And it's just, I'm still too angry about this to actually form coherent thoughts. I am so sorry.
That's fine. It's gosh. I wish there were better things to actually say because honestly, like anything that you might really have to say is fairly obvious in the first place. Like anybody who is liberal with fucking eyes can look at this and really it's a shame because like you said, there's no way to change somebody this entrenched in their worldview into a more giving view of the world, a more charitable view to everyone, because he already believes that he is being as charitable to everyone as possible, and there is no way to get around that.
I'll go one step further. It's also not the responsibility of us to educate him.
Absolutely not.
He should educate himself. And ultimately, it comes down to him making the decision for himself to open his mind to perspectives that the rest of the world are embracing. But if he wants to remain a closed-minded, bigoted person with some queer friends that like to play his games, by all means, be that person. Just don't make me have to put your name in my mouth ever again.
I imagine we will not have to because he is wandering off, and other people will be in charge of Five
Yeah.
Nights at Freddy's, which is probably the best thing he really could do because now it's not his creative effort.
It's not his creative effort, but you know that he's going to maintain some kind of like financial stake in the company. He's still going to be making money off of all these games. So I would still, say like if you are a member of the LGBTQ community or support the LGBTQ community, maybe skip Five Nights at Freddy's for a little while
Mm.
until we know that Scott Cawthon is not making any money off of it. I understand that boycotts do not always work, but that's just me. That's just that's just me putting that out there. At the same time, though, I will say this, Scott. I wish that Scott Cawthon has the chance to learn and to actually takes the time to better understand communities outside of his own community because it can only make things better in the world for him, his own world. Like, I sincerely hope he does that. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that with him retiring, I don't have to think about him.
Yeah, and I kind of feel the same way as Graves. I'm not going to go out and say punch him in the face or anything, but I choose not to support him with my money. That's all. It's a free country. I'm free to not funnel my money into places where I don't want it to go.
Exactly.
I know anything Five Nights at Freddy's will continue to sell well. We have seen ourselves with the thank you, Scott hashtag that a far larger voice in the community care more about the games that he wrote and the admittedly a lot of positive things he has done, but um fuck it. I don't want to see his games anymore. I don't want to see him anymore.
No, and I must commend some people using that hashtag, actually trying to like usurp it and still turn it into a "fuck you, Scott Cawthon" thing. I
Yeah.
will commend those people all day long.
You tried, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
So we're gonna detox here because oh yeah, that was kind of intense.
I just saw this on. I didn't look this far down on our rundown, and I just saw what we're pulling up, and I'm very happy.
So we're just gonna watch the Intellivision Amico stream because boy was it a thing. Let's do a live react, the three of us. Lindsay, Brian, would it help for me to share my screen to you guys
Yes.
so you're watching it live?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see how to do
As
that
the console wars continue to rage and next-gen consoles remain scarce to
Do you
find,
share your
a blast from the
screen?
past has come along with a new focus to bring gaming to your sofa. Ladies and gentlemen,
All
here
right.
is Intellivision.
It is shared. Thanks to Spot In Games for publishing this video so we can sit here and
Hi, I'm
watch.
Tommy Tellerico, and what an honor it is for Intellivision to be a part of this year's E3. I want to personally thank the ESA for having us
First
be
off,
involved.
not to shit on
And
Tommy
we have
Tellerico.
seen some incredible,
I understand
incredible
he is
stuff.
a
What
little
great
bit
time to be a gamer.
of a
I've
bully,
been in the
but
video
he is
game
not
industry
lying
for
when
over
he says that
32
he has
years,
been
and have been a part of the creative
very
teams that have made some of the greatest video games of all time, including
very
things
busy
like
within
Disney's Aladdin, Earthworm
the
Jim,
video game
Tony Hawk's Pro
industry.
Skater,
He has been
Metroid
there
Prime,
for a
Guitar
lot
Hero.
of shit.
I'm even the guy who did the oof sound for Roblox. Don't hate me. In fact, I own the Guinness
The
World
fucking
Record for the
Roblox
person who's
sound,
worked on the
okay.
most video
That's what
games
you're
in their
gonna lean into.
lifetime. My mother's very
Yo,
proud.
he made some
But I'm
money off
here
of that.
today to talk
All
about
right.
I'm
Uh-huh.
sure.
Television and our brand
Well,
new
especially
video
because they
game
used it
console,
without his permission, so he got to sue them.
Now, Amico is the
Did he? I
Italian
didn't
word
hear
for
about that
friend,
one.
and that's
Oh,
basically
yeah.
what we've designed our entire system and games around.
All right, so here's
That
the CGI
friendship,
model
that
of
multiplayer,
the
that
Amico,
couch
and then
co-op
photoshopped
experience.
into
See,
several
when I was
images of
growing up,
people having
we didn't
fun.
have the internet to play video games, so if you wanted to play with
Yeah,
somebody else,
that was
you
like
went
the
over to their
worst
house or they
Photoshop
came
job
over to
I've
your
seen in a
house. It was
while.
everybody in a room.
Yeah, it's
In
amazing
fact,
how
I bet
little
if
they
you're a
really
hardcore
wanted to
gamer,
try on
you're
this.
probably like me, and I bet your fondest
You couldn't
memories
make
of
some
playing
replicas or
games were when
anything
you were
to
playing with
have
other
some
in
people
the same
actually
room
hold?
together. That's what we're all about. Now, look, I'm going to be honest. For a lot of you out there watching this, I'm not going to impress you with our teraflops and gigawatts and
No one thought you
streaming
were.
processor
Yeah,
and
Tony, we
Yeah.
know
incredible
that this is
graphics.
a
That's
low-end
not what we're about.
console made
What
for
we
Yeah.
are is a
family
really
gaming.
simple, fun
I mean, the
party machine
controllers look like
that
iPods,
you
for
can
God's
bring
sake.
out when maybe some
Yeah,
of your
it's like the
non-gaming
Wii
friends
U,
come over.
if done
Maybe you have a
worse.
husband or a wife who isn't into gaming
With no
as
good
much
games
as you
back
are.
here.
Maybe grandma comes over and you want to play a
Oh,
simple
the
motion
off-brand Wii
control
U
game or a
clones.
card game or a
Yeah.
board game, dice, whatever it is. See, all of our games are built
We see
around
some
This guy
people
seems
holding
like
cell
he
phones.
should have been
That's
next
the most
to what's his
important thing
face,
for us,
the
and
legendary
gathering
pitchman.
people in a room together to do it. Here at Intellivision, we've assembled an incredible
Mr.
passionate
Caffeine?
team of game
No, no,
makers
no.
who have over
The one that got
600
taken
years
over
experience
like after he passed
making some
away
of your favorite
by
games.
that Vince guy
Everything
with the
we
slap
do, we
chop
focus on bringing
Yeah.
and
people
Oh, Billy
ShamWow.
Mays.
Billy
having
Mays,
simple
Yes.
fun. In fact, we've designed our hardware entirely around
This is like the
those two
Jersey Shore
things.
version of
So,
Billy
for
Mays.
example, our controller is really unique. It has a color capacitive touchscreen on it. It really comes in handy.
It's got
when
a
you're playing
colored
others that
touchscreen,
might not
which
be
is
as good as you
completely
in gaming,
revolutionary
so it's
to
a
the
great way
gaming
to give
market.
them little hints. For example, if you're in Shark Shark,
Never seen
whoever's
that
in
before.
last place, it will
But don't you guys
vibrate
all
if
have
you haptic
phones?
as well, and then it
Some of these
shows the
games that
color
he's
of the
showing,
plan
I
that's going
watched
to
the
release the next big bonus
completely
pearl. So
unnecessary
only that player
podcast,
will get that
and
information.
they did
And
some
also, having a
research,
screen
and
on every
some
single
of these
controller
games
gives
are
you a lot of
actual
really
Flash
cool and
games
unique
that were put out for
abilities
free.
to do game.
Yeah, I'm not
game
surprised by
device.
that.
For example, everybody has their cards and they can hide it in a game like Spades.
But
here you
Flash
see it
is
on
dead,
Farkle, another one of
so
our 6-pack
now they
games
live
for
on.
free on every console. You can shake it and you'll feel the vibration. We have haptic
Yeah,
feedback.
you get to
And
republish
watch,
it
you
now, so
pour it
everyone
out,
see it.
boom, and the
He's
dice
actually
pour
doing
right
that
out
motion
onto
he
the
just
screen.
did with the fucking cell
Motion
phone, if you
controls are
notice.
also really important, especially for casual gamers. So a lot of our sports
With
and
an overlay?
recreation, for example, will use that kind of
I could
motion
pause to
control.
go
You'll see here
over
with
it, but it's
cornhole,
not even
you're
worth my
throwing the
time to
bag and you go,
pause
"Oh,
and
by the
really
way, this
look
is another
at
game
it
that comes
directly.
free on every console."
So
Now, our main disc
here's
is
here's my
unique as
issue with
well.
this.
Most
I
directional
am
pads
really
have 8
tired
positions,
of
up, down, left, rights, and the diagonals.
these
This
like
has 64
these like kind of like
directions,
alternative console
and
things, like
touch
leaning into this whole
sensitivity
thing
as
of like
well. So the harder I press down,
games like
it'll
get
affect
patched and
gameplay.
all
Here's
this
a
stuff
feature I think a lot of
nowadays,
gamers
and
are
like
gonna love.
we
I
we
can
want to go
take
back
the
to the
Maya
time when you
controller.
just got the
I can
game
go
whenever
over
it
your
just was
house,
just a
download it into
cartridge
your
and you didn't have
system,
to add anything
and
onto it. Like
because it
I get
recognizes that it's
I
my
get the
controller,
sentiment in a
you can
way
now
because
play
like
all of
yes, like
my
they
games that
released
I
completed
own
games back
on
then
your
and they
system
usually
at
weren't
your
broken to
house. As
shit
long as my controller
and
is
didn't
there,
require day
my
one
games are
patches and
there
all
as
this other
well.
stuff.
Another cool
But at
feature
the
that
same
we've
time,
incorporated is wireless
the
contact
ability to
charging. So
patch a
once you're
game
done
and
with
have
your
ongoing
controller, your
development on
game's
something or
over,
make
you
something
just
better
dock it
has
right
actually
onto your
made a
device
lot of
and it
video
charges
games
for you.
that
Another
much
unique feature
better
of
and
Amico
have
is
made
that we
development
have
processes
interactive
that much
LED
better
lighting
at the
all throughout
same
the
time.
console itself,
So
the
it's just like
base,
they're shitting on a
and
process
all
that
of
has
the controllers. We also
ostensibly
have
made
RFID
the
built throughout the
development of
entire
video
console,
games
which means you
better
can get a gift
in the
card, for
past
example,
decade
tap
and
it
a
on the
half,
system, and it
as
shows up
opposed
immediately.
to
You
like
know what's really
just
cool
like
about having the focus
throwing
being
out
people
Earthworm
playing
Jim on a
together.
thing
I'll give you an
and just
example.
saying like, well,
Last
here's the
Weekend
Earthworm
was
Jim
a
thing,
4-player game.
not
At
adding
any
anything to it.
point during the game,
I don't
somebody
know.
can pick up a controller
It just
and just
boggles my
pick
mind
the
that
ship they want and
continues to
go
be like the
into the
major
game
selling
at
point a lot of this stuff.
Now, for all you collectors
But you
out
can
there,
use
you
an
happen to know
RFID
that not
card
only
to
can you
refill your
download games
gamer points.
digitally, but we also have physical
Oh no,
copies
my
as
gamer
well,
points.
and we'll be releasing more information
And you
about
can just
that
tap it
later
on a
this year.
console, you
Now, here's
know?
something
So
I think a lot of
revolutionary,
gamers
like
are gonna appreciate.
amiibos.
We don't allow any loot boxes, in-game purchases,
But they
in-app
don't have loot
advertising,
boxes,
or
isn't
paid
that great?
downloadable content. But what we do have
But-
Cool.
is
A lot of other
online
games don't,
leaderboard
and they don't
system
have
for
to
most of our
like
games,
succumb to
where
the
you can go in here and
Intellivision.
check your scores against your state,
Online leaderboard
country,
system where if you
world,
have the
or
Amico,
month,
you're
the
guaranteed
year,
to be
and
at the
all
top of the
time.
leaderboard
And
because
those scores
nobody
tie into
else
our
has
database
one.
as well. So if you have the high score at the end of the month of your month,
Ugh.
we're gonna email you a
But you know,
certificate.
the
You can go put it out
diehard
and hang on
fans
your
of
wall.
the
Now, as we all know, the most
Intellivision are going to
important
be
part of
out there
any video
dropping
game
money.
system
By
are
the way,
games themselves.
they
They
will
all have
email
to be
you
super
a
fun to
certificate
play.
of how good
And
you
that's
are.
where we really shine. In fact,
Jesus.
all of our
Okay, Twin
games
Galaxies is making a
are
console now,
highly
apparently.
curated. All of them contain a single and multiplayer or couch co-op mode, and all the games on
I
our
will say
system
that
are
one
exclusive
shooter
or
game they showed
contain
off actually
exclusive
looked kind
content.
of cool.
Look, and the major thing with this, really, for me, is that like, yes, this whole thing.
Like
There
Retro
are people that
Reimagined, where
will
we
play
take some of
this,
the
and there are people
greatest
that will find
classic
joy in
video
this.
games
I'm sure
of
there are
all
games on
time
here that I would
with
enjoy
new
playing. You know,
graphics,
this would be a
new
fun little thing
audio,
to play
add
some of these older
multiplayer and
style
couch
games and
co-op.
with some
Some of
updated
the things we have,
graphics
for
or whatever. It
example,
would be fine.
12 of
The
the best
problem
games from
is
Atari, like Breakout,
they're selling this thing for
Outsiders, Tidbit,
$250.
Missile We have
Yeah,
games
if
like
this were
Grind
like a
Time and
budget
Bump and Jump,
console,
and
sure, but you're
even
selling it for
some
the
of the
price of a
best
Switch.
television games from the
Yeah.
past,
That's
like
that's
Cloudy Mountain
almost
and
$400 in
Nightstalk.
maple syrup
We have
money.
edutainment
Yeah.
titles
Like,
for kids 7 and under.
what the
Things like
hell?
Sesame
The
Street
Sesame
and
Street games you
Terrorist.
can actually
Now,
play
our
on their
original
website
IP
currently.
category contains brand new games that we've created, a lot of times around our unique controller. Some of those games are platformers like Finnegan Fox.
Like, is this
Bomb
giving you
Squad,
guys like the vibes of, do you remember back in the
Space
day when we could get
Strikers,
like the little
Flying Tigers.
laptops that
And
had
we
like nothing
even
but
got the
educational games
original
on it
Echo the
for
Dolphin
kids?
team
Oh, the
to
Leapfrog?
create
Yeah,
our new
like
title
stuff
called
along those lines. Like this is like the leapfrog of the console
We even
world
take
right
more
now.
But
modern
what if the
games
Echo the
and
Dolphin
add
team,
exclusive
the original
co-op
Echo the
modes.
Dolphin
Games
team,
like
made a
Ninja
game for
Force
your
Redux
Leapfrog?
Enhanced
Okay,
and
Echo the
Dynamite.
Dolphin
Now our sports
is
and
a
recreational
cool game
category
in
not only
concept.
has
I
big
remember
sports
playing
like
that
Major
game.
League Baseball and soccer,
It is
but
not
also
fun
recreational
to play.
sports like cornhole, skiing, pool.
Okay, let me
and
rephrase that.
more.
I'm not shitting on
Our
Echo the Dolphin
casual
here, okay?
category
But I'm just saying if
contains
that's your
many
bragging point, is that
party
we got
games,
the original
dice
Echo the
games,
Dolphin
board
team back.
games, card games,
Ah.
things like spades, emoji charades.
You can play
Also,
spades.
it literally just said that you can play emoji charades on your Intellivision. That is, come on.
Really big partnerships and licenses
Okay, so
Emoji
like
charades and ink and gold are gonna be your fucking halos of the Intellivision Amico.
and they're talking about Farkle, which is like Yahtzee, but you know, it's cheaper to go to a game store and pick up 66s
and we got
and
the
a
original
pad of
team
paper.
to be working on it. We
Oh
wanna do
great, now we're
something
back to the
special.
Earthworm Jim
So we're gonna
bullshit.
They
do
What's
like
up?
still haven't shown off any
all the
actual
team members
gameplay from
signed
the
it.
Earthworm
All
Jim
you have to
game.
do is
They've just
email
shown fucking
Cal
prints of
at
Doug Knaples' artwork.
Intellivision.com with the subject line Groove.
Yeah, we're not gonna say his name, but we'll show his artwork,
And then we'll
even
announce
though
the
he's not
winners
involved in the
all
creation
in
of the
one.
game. But we're gonna,
Thank you for
because
spending
of
a
he's
little
a
time with us here
complete
today.
shitheel of a
Hopefully, as
person.
you can see, our
By
But
the way,
audience is
you
a
we'll
too
show his
could,
artwork.
everything
could
else
win
that's out
a piece
there,
of artwork
and we
if
really
you
don't view others as
email
competition.
us.
What we're doing with
Exactly.
you
It's
is
all a ploy to
complementary
build up their
to what the
email
video
list so they
game
can
industry
bombard you
is
with
doing.
advertisements
Such
for the
an exciting
Intellivision
time
Amico.
to
That's
be in
all
the
this
industry,
is.
to be a
You couldn't
fan
even
of the
have a
industry,
fucking web
and we
form
are
to put your
fans
information
of the
in?
video game industry. And you know, if there's
No,
something
because
that's
then they
sitting
couldn't
here
build up their
today
email
that
list, so
might
they
be of
couldn't send
interest,
you
or
whenever,
maybe you're a
like all the
developer wants to
new
make some
like
games
updates for
us,
spades. That's
maybe
gonna be.
we're
Oh wait,
not
I'm sorry, not
sure.
updates because they're not
Please
updating the
go to
games. They're not patching spades
Intellivision.com.
for all of us.
We want to hear from you.
I just hey, that was a
Notice
thing.
notice they did not say anything about the price point.
Yeah, didn't talk about the price point, didn't talk about the fact that games will be somewhere between $8 and $20 for each of them, which means...
Well, they did say that. There was a graphic that came up that said digital games are, yeah, there was a graphic that came up that said digital games at launch will be $9.99 or under, and physical games will be $20. Yeah, so that was the extent. They did talk about that very, very, very briefly. You could have blinked and missed it.
Yeah,
But
Graves
yeah.
saying that this is a Wii pitch is too strong. This is the Wii U pitch, but without any of Nintendo's ability to build joy and wonder into their products.
Yeah. And like what Graves said earlier, where it's like this could be like grandparents who bought you Nickelback CDs when they heard you liked alternative music, you know?
It's very true.
This is genuinely amazing to me. That this is the product that Tommy has been like just fucking going off about how this is going to revolutionize gaming for the family.
They are a decade and a half too late.
Yep.
Yeah, this is not good. Literally no new announcements, no gameplay that really, except for that one space shooter, looked pretty good. There may be games on here worth a damn, but I have to imagine it'll just be like the Ouya. Some good games will get developed for it, and eventually it'll be on Steam.
Yep, because nobody will play them on this console.
I have never been as excited for something to crash and burn in my entire life.
I'm not excited for it to crash and burn per se, but I am, I try not to be cynical about things, but I find it hard to not be cynical about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be a fun thing to watch. Train wrecks are always fun.
Oh,
Like
you
you
know
said.
how much I love train wrecks.
Exactly. God.
And you know,
Anyway,
we're past the point now that like you officially like announced it to the world. You've given yourself an E3 conference. When you were developing before, you know, you had your Atari Age Forum and Twin Galaxy fans, you know, backing you, and you know they'll fucking listen to anything Tommy Tallarico's got to say. He's such a nice guy.
that reminds me real quick. I know this is our last story of the day, but I have a quick addition that we can just talk about real quick.
Yeah.
You know that they did the E3 2021 awards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all look at the listing for the awards?
I did not.
Okay, let me see if I can find the where is the list of winners? Because the way that they did these is really shitty. Because basically they took every company that paid the ESA to have their stuff featured on the E3 presentation this year. They didn't necessarily segment awards by like genre or console or anything like that, you know, or like have like a best in show really. Um they gave each presentation their own most anticipated game winner.
Oh.
Like, so if you paid the ESA money, you got to win an E3 award. Basically.
Oh, they really fucking chickened out on that, huh?
Including the Intellivision. The Intellivision, guess what won most anticipated game for the Intellivision?
God, I have no idea what might be the most anticipated game for Nintendo.
Asteroids.
Whoa, what?
Asteroids won most anticipated game for the Intellivision. I'm going to link this in the chat for anybody that wants to look at the list. Because they broke it down by presentation. Capcom, most anticipated. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, most anticipated for Gearbox Software. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, most anticipated indie game. Falling Frontier, I have no idea what that is. Most anticipated Nintendo game, Breath of the Wild 2. Most anticipated PC gaming show game, Songs of Conquest. Most anticipated future game show game, Immortality, which looks dope, by the way. Most anticipated game for Square Enix, Guardians of the Galaxy. Most anticipated Ubisoft, Mario plus Rabbids. Most anticipated Xbox / Bethesda, Halo Infinite. And most anticipated Eureka Studio, Lootmancer, which also looks dope as shit. They gave out individual awards based to every single publisher or developer that bought space on their broadcast. It's the most thinly veiled bullshit that I have seen in a long time in the games industry.
How are you going to tell me that Forza Horizon 5, of everything displayed at E3, is the most anticipated game?
Because Elden Ring wasn't at E3. That's why. Because Summer Games Fest, Jeff Keighley strolled up to the pay window and said, I got that Elden Ring. Fuck y'all.
I feel so weird standing up for Jeff Keighley now, of all things, but I actually look forward to what he has to present in the future way more than whatever the ESA has now. Wow! Wow, I love the best in television game, Asteroids. That's
Oh no, not best. Most anticipated.
most anticipated.
Because if there's one game to anticipate in 2021, it's motherfucking Asteroids.
Asteroids, you know. Not fucking Earthworm Jim, the only game with any real clout on the entire fucking system coming out or anything. Nah. Ooh, that's amazing.
I had originally planned to submit this as our Mr. Video Games for the week, but I had forgotten to do so in time. So there
That's
you go.
fine. But hey, speaking of Mr. Video Games, you know that we cannot end an episode of the Mr. Video Game Live Super Show ever without giving you our Mr. Video Game of the Week. Of course, if you don't know, Mr. Video Games is the thing, place, person, whatever. It's something that you can only really look at and go, holy shit, that right there is video games. And our winner for June the 21st, 2021, is the voice of Shao Kahn himself. Oh god, what's his name? Ike Amadi is voicing the cat from No More Heroes 3. The dummy little bastard John.
In terms of their approach just to the content and
Into it.
Also, Gene is always
Sold.
like this,
That's all I
so
needed to hear.
Don't worry about it.
Sold.
I wish I
That's
didn't
pretty
have
deep
to
voice for
listen
Gene.
to the GameSpot guys talking over it, so you can barely hear it, which is why I'm not
Noted.
worried about talking over it.
Generally the same everywhere.
Travis makes a good point.
Let's go.
But I love when people pay like
is Gold Joe.
respected actors. Now,
He is number 9 in the Galactic Superhero rankings.
he mostly
Okay,
does
so,
play a video
Travis
game
needs to defeat him to move
character,
his way up in the
so, you
rankings?
know,
That's right. He has to
probably
defeat 9
nothing
to become
terribly
9.
new for him.
Well, Joe looks pretty
Mostly known for
spectacular.
Shao Kahn, but a whole lot of
It's
other
a fabulous light show.
people. His list
Travis
I've
is
seen is long and illustrious, and boy, seeing that deep ass voice coming out of a tiny or ton kid is great.
So projection mapping, right?
I would happily adopt said kitten if I could, like, have it
Yeah, Trav.
speak with that voice.
Exactly.
I am excited for this stupid fucking game. No More Heroes, not the most fun game to play ever from a gameplay standpoint, but as just a real dumb series of bullshit, I love the No More Heroes franchise so hard.
Always leave it to Suda to pull something like this and change the game every time.
Well, that is your Mr. Video Games for June the 21st, 2021. Thank you for everyone for coming. Diablo Graves, Calverin, Coop. I do believe that was everyone that talked today. Thank you for joining us in the chat, and of course, everyone that listened as well. Whether you speak or not here, we just appreciate the voices, or the the people listening to our voices. knowing that we are reaching people and people actually come back, enjoy the show, and keep coming back for more. We always appreciate that. We will not be doing a show tomorrow, but probably next week, especially considering the post E3 need for rest is very much real, especially on the Wonder Boy part. So
I do, but also the line never stops. I got some demos to play and some other stuff to write.
heck
Always
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Any final words for this evening, Brian?
Yeah, so I'm gonna put some in the chat here because over at Toll Road I wrote an E3 wrap up on some of the best in queer games that came out of E3. So I'm gonna put that linky in the chat there for anybody that wants to check that out. I love the fact that my editor, as soon as they saw what Boyfriend Dungeon was, immediately asked me, "What the fuck is this?" and I every time I show that to somebody else, they are immediately intrigued and interested. So get it. Outside of that, though, you can follow me online at WonderboyOTM. You can read my writing at outsports.com and tollroad.com. And also check out my queer pro wrestling podcast, LGBT in the Ring. It comes out every Thursday, part of the Outsports podcast network. So just search Outsports or LGBT in the Ring in your podcast service of choice, and you'll pull that up. We're coming up on episode number 100
Holy cow.
the coming up in July. So we're doing something special for that. I'm the interview subject for the 100th episode, and we are opening up the queues to the fans of the show, the listeners. So if there's anything that you did want to ask me, wrestling or non-wrestling related, or ever wanted to know about me, email questions to lgbtringpod100, the number 100 at gmail.com. So we have that open and going as well.
I'm excited you got all those A's coming right at us. Lady Merowyn, any final words this evening?
I mean, just my usual. Don't forget to love each other from a socially distanced perspective. Wear a mask, wash your hands, be the change you want to see in the world, and just be cool.
Agreed.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. It was a pleasure to speak words into your brain holes. We will be back next week, and the following week after that, we will be on a break because myself and Wonder Boy will be attending a wedding in Unchrasmatic, you may know, member of the Dead Sun community. Getting hitched to a wonderful lady, couldn't be more proud of him, and we are going to be so excited, and we're going to cry so much. It'll be great. But anyway, we will see you guys next week. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.